One moment, you're the biggest band in the world. Next thing you know, you're getting body checked off the charts by a bunch of polite guys from Winnipeg. This is the wild, true story of American Woman. In 1970, just as the Beatles were smashing the charts with Let It Be, something crazy happened. A band from Winnipeg, yes, Winnipeg, Canada, took over the U.S. charts and sent the Fab Four packing. That band, the Guess Who, and their weapon of choice, American Woman. You gotta admit, beating the Beatles is like winning a dance-off against James Brown. That just doesn't happen. The Guess Who's journey began in the early 60s as Chad Allen and the Reflections. Their breakout came when their cover of Shakin' All Over hit the Canadian charts.
So you send a letter to them, we're a band, and here's our record. And we got a call back from them saying, we love this song. It was Shakin' All Over. You need to get a name. You can't use Reflections because the band had called Reflections had a hit called Just Like Romeo and Juliet. We couldn't think of a band name. So they put out a white label that said Shakin' All Over on it. And underneath it, they put Guess Who and a question mark. And nobody knew we were a band from Winnipeg. The song went to #1 in Canada in about 2 or 3 weeks. And everyone was calling us Guess Who, and that's how we got our name.
But it wasn't until Burton Cummings joined the band in 1965 that their sound really started cooking. They were like the Animals if they traded London fog for moose sightings and maple syrup. With Burton Cummings on vocals and Randy Bachman on guitar, they quickly evolved into something deeper, heavier, and more psychedelic. Hits like These Eyes and Laughing made them local legends and then international stars. American Woman wasn't written in a studio. It happened by accident. During a live show in Ontario, Bachman broke a guitar string. While tuning, he noodled that now iconic riff. The band joined in, and Cummings ad-libbed the rant about American obsession with war, materialism, and the draft. Meanwhile, I ad-lib lyrics about what I forgot at the grocery store. Not quite the same impact. They rushed back to the studio to capture it, and when they played it for the label, jaws dropped. No one expected a gritty protest song from a bunch of Canadian rockers. But that's exactly what it was. American Woman fused hard rock, blues, and a proto-funk groove. But it was the lyrics that raised the eyebrows. It wasn't just about a woman. It was a metaphor for America itself, and not in a flattering light. Some folks thought it was anti-American, but Burton said it was anti-war. Big difference. The song struck a nerve during the Vietnam era. Anti-war anthems were everywhere, but few came from Canada with this much bite. In May 1970, American Woman hit number 1 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100. That same week, the Beatles' song Let It Be slid to number 2. For 3 glorious weeks, the Guess Who sat at the top.
When the find myself in times of trouble.
So, if you're ever feeling small, just remember, a bunch of prairie boys knocked off the most famous band in the world. Yeah, it can happen to you too, people. It was the first time a Canadian band ever topped the U.S. charts, a major milestone. Suddenly, the Guess Who were everywhere, on radio, on TV.
Unreal. And now, I'd like to introduce the wonderful rock group Guess Who, which leads me to my second question, why not?
The band was invited to play a White House event, but once Pat Nixon saw the lyrics to American Woman, she asked that the song be removed from the set list. Madam First Lady, if you're watching from heaven, your husband was impeached, and this song still rocks. The band didn't play it, and they never played the White House again. But honestly, that probably made the song even cooler. Shortly after their big hit, Randy Bachman left the band. He was dealing with health problems and a spiritual shift. He went on to form Bachman Turner Overdrive. Yep, that BTO. From no sugar tonight to taking care of business. That's what I call a smooth career pivot. The Guess Who kept rolling with hits like Share the Land and Clap for the Wolfman, but American Woman remained their biggest cultural footprint. The song was revived in the late 90s by Lenny Kravitz, who won a Grammy and introduced a new generation to that killer riff. And yet, the original version still hits in a different way, with a raw, rebellious, and unmistakably Canadian sound. Take that, maple syrup. This might be the grooviest export Canada ever sent south of the border. Oh, and if you want to hear American Woman the way it was meant to melt faces, go check out their album Live at the Paramount. That version is pure fire. Burton's vocals are unhinged. Kurt Winter's guitar is snarling. and the whole thing feels like they're trying to burn down the stage. But politely, of course, because they are Canadian. Seriously, skip leg day and just air guitar to that version for 9 minutes. It'd be the same workout. So now you know. The Guess Who really did knock the Beatles off the charts. For a few weeks in 1970, they were the kings of rock. And they did it with a riff, a protest, and a little Canadian fire. Like, subscribe, and keep it groovy. I'll see you next time with more musical mayhem from the far outside of rock history. Good coffee. Okay. Take care, everyone.